Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukatali.
And a jolly good morning to you. This is Newsline, live as always from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo, broadcasting on TV1, that wonderful channel that you are obviously tuned into. And we are, of course, part of the Capital Marriage Group. And this morning, one would have thought that we may talk about that pressing problem that's going on at the BASL, or that Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy gave evidence yesterday at the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into the issuance of bonds at the Central Bank. Or we could always talk about the TNA promises maximum cooperation for constitutional reforms according to the island. Or there is an article in the island feature section about Volkswagen and questioning whether it is Sri Lanka's national car, written by that intrepid journalist Pandula Jayasekara, the host of Patigana. But none of all that, because this morning we are going to talk about community dogs and dogs in general. And to talk about that and tell us all about community dogs and so on is a canine expert this morning, a canine expert in the form of Mr. Chanaka Silva. Very good morning to you, Mr. Silva.
Good morning.
And thank you for being on Newsline. Now then, community dogs, are we familiar with it by any other name?
Yes, they are generally and very derogatorily referred to as stray dogs in this country.
Ah, that's what it's the other name, stray dogs, right.
And I don't believe with the very nature of the dog, which is a very territorial and pack animal, a dog can actually be a stray.
Right.
Its very nature prevents it. The dogs we see outside and we all refer to as strays are really not strays because they are attached loosely to some community.
Right.
What you can commonly see is near groups of houses, housing schemes, flats, even government offices where there are a lot of garages and things, you get dogs guarding those particular garages.
Right.
You know, they are fed by the drivers and the cleaners and they know every vehicle and they know every driver.
Right.
So what we don't realize is we have a huge asset here.
Right.
Right? An untapped resource for
Right.
security. And no one has really seen the potential, and certainly no one has still made a committed effort to use it.
Right.
In this country, I think we desperately need to use it.
Now that's good news. But is it true that I know that when I want to ride my bicycle, I'm a bit concerned because there are dogs on Hotel Road. There are different sort of sections of Hotel Road in which there are different packs, as you say, of these dogs. My own dog, who likes to ride, who likes to run ahead of the bike and sort of wait for me. I think he's just walked in front of me because he's gone ahead and he's thinking, well, come on, and you know. But then he doesn't go into certain area of these little junctions of the road.
Yes.
Because we know that he's I think he's frightened of that particular pack. So why do these dogs sort of, they're guarding their territory? Because my fellow is not welcome there.
Right. As I told you, they're territorial. Hunting animals, carnivorous animals, as a part of protecting their food supply, actually protect their hunting grounds. Right. So this is what they do. Now dogs know, now if we say X number of houses in a lane, feed them. Right. And they also have some sort of protection there. Right. They will protect that area. They won't let outsiders in.
Right.
It's the same thing, and that's why you said at every junction, at certain areas, you get these packs. Yeah. Those packs are unique to that area. Yeah. Right. And another thing is that, as you said, it happens that why dogs chase bicycles.
Yes, why do they do that?
As hunting animals, instinctively they will chase anything that moves. Right. Right. They are.
Is that why dogs? I've always wondered why they come smashing off to the car as it passes, and I wondered why. What's It's universal, everywhere.
Yes, because they think it is, some very nice, some piece of food on feet that's just running past them and they have to get a bite out of it.
Right.
Right? So that is their reflex action, because dogs are also flight animals. That is, their reactions are either to fight or flight.
Right.
So the first instance they will, they resort to one of the two reactions.
Right.
So when it comes to like seeing some animal they can eat, they will give chase.
I see. Then there's the other thing. We've spent hours washing the car and polishing it and all that. And then the dog comes along, lifts its leg and decides to give the wheels a little bit of additional glow by doing its toilet on the tire.
Yeah.
Why?
Because he is marking his territory.
Right.
And if it is your car, he is telling the other guys to keep off it, because look here, this is my piece of my territory and you guys are not going to come and do anything. And it is also a way of like handing out a business card.
Oh, right.
So when the vehicle goes somewhere else, those ones know that there is such a dog here.
Right.
Just to elaborate a little bit on that, this scent marking, as we call, is the way that dogs also use to mark a trail out and back. If you take your dog for a walk, unless it is fairly obedient, it will try lifting its leg at every fence post he can find.
Right.
What he does is, he marks his trail so that he can find his way home back.
Ah, right. I see.
So that, and also the boundary, it serves one or two purposes.
How do you choose what kind of dog
To
you
have.
want to have as a pet?
Yes, very good. That question would only have to be answered by, when you want to choose a dog, you must take your lifestyle into consideration first.
Right.
You have enough time, you have enough energy,
Right.
and then you, of course, certain bigger dogs are rather expensive to maintain.
Yeah.
And also whether you can whether you have space.
Yeah. At your home.
Yes, home, and then you have to give it the required exercise, medical attention.
Yeah.
And when I said lifestyle, it's the activity level.
Right.
Because certain dogs are extremely active.
Yeah.
And if they are not kept sufficiently busy, what happens is they even become, very hyperactive, they become destructive, right? They become a nuisance to the owner.
If you
don't exercise them sufficiently.
Right.
So it is better to choose a dog of a lesser level of activity to suit your lifestyle.
But I have a slight problem with what you're saying there, because my Great Dane, I have I think it's on my bucket list. I want to let him be and see how many hours he'll sleep.
All right.
Because he's constantly sleeping, and unless the cat arrives, the cat from next door, of course, and then of course he's on his feet, or a squirrel, then again he's energized.
Right.
But otherwise he's enjoying his sleep. How long can a dog sleep, for heaven's sake?
Dogs sleep because of one thing. If their food, nutrition, calorie level is up to mark, or like what we say, full tank, they will sleep.
Oh, that's what
Right.
it is.
They eat and sleep. The lion also eats and sleeps. Right. Carnivorous animals do that. So when they are, as you say, energized, when they sense a threat or some opportunity to play, which is also sort of a semi-hunting process, then they get energized, they get alert and come up. But otherwise, they just simply sleep. Because when a dog knows his food comes at a particular time, and he has sufficient of it, he has no reason to be active.
I see.
It's very comfortable. It's a
Right.
very comfortable dog you have.
Now then, you talk about stray dogs, also known as AKA community dogs.
Yes.
Now, there's a group of people who maintain that our favorite walking spot in Colombo, which is a lot of people go to Independence Square, and there's been some sort of effort to break up these community dogs from Independence. saying that they're dangerous and so on and so forth. But another lady who is known to us has told me that that's far from the truth. And the truth is that these dogs don't disturb anyone, that they are quite happy to be fed and looked after by walkers who bring them bits and pieces to eat and so on. Is it a good thing or bad thing to feed them like that?
Community dogs must be fed by someone.
Right.
So in these places, like public places like Independence Square, I suppose it's the walkers who will feed. What could be done is, of course, to have certain sort of spots where they could be fed.
Yeah.
Where they will not, the people who kindly bring them food will actually not add to the litter of the area, to keep it clean and manageable. Yeah. But I have to agree with that lady. These community dogs, in my whole life, I have never found them to be dangerous or aggressive or to go out and attack. They will defend as a last effort. They will defend themselves, but they are not dangerous. I do not agree with that.
I have another friend, and they've got a kid, and they live in a fairly large property outside of Colombo. And this little girl would like to have a dog as a pet. But mother says that she's allergic to the fur and so on, and so it's not a good idea. I think the matter is, if she's watching, then this matter, the mother's probably thought that the matter's put to rest. We're not having a dog. But I think little one, now watching the program, might revisit that request. But is that true? Is this problem with people being allergic and so on, is that a real problem?
There are two sides to this. What they have found, and there is considerable study to find that children do get allergic as a result of sometimes the households being too clean.
Too clean.
Too clean, right?
Because?
That is a problem. Because there is, I have published that also, American study where a household that has two pets of the same kind, 2 cats, 2 dogs, whatever, the child actually develops immunity against allergies. Right? Allergy is something you can get over. Allergies need not be there for life. Right. Little by little you can build resistance. So what happens is, now we have this, it's good to be clean, but then should we be surgical? Right? Children have to get dirty. I know now, my own experience, those days we could have a lot of pets, except snakes. We had every type of pet in the house. So if that animals bringing allergy theory was true, I don't think I could even walk breathing normally now. Right?
Right. I see. Okay, so let's talk about this a different way. Do you know what is Sri Lanka's most popular domesticated dog?
As a pet, it would be now, I believe, the Labrador Retriever, which is very popular. But I think without, really finding out, because there are very few figures available, the German Shepherd or the Alsatian.
This is like an all-time favorite.
All-time favorite. It's an all-purpose dog. It's a legend in its own time. And it's a very, very reliable, good dog to have for everything. As a pet, a child's guardian, it's an excellent guardian. And it has the stopping power of a lot of things. So I think the poll will be out on which one is actually the favorite.
Indeed. Well, on that note, let's go for a short break and do come back, because after all, at Newsline we are keeping you connected to what's in the news. Welcome back to Newsline, and we're joined by a canine expert this morning, Mr. Chanaka Silva. Tell me, Mr. Silva, when you're choosing a dog as a pet, is it advisable to go for a purebred or a crossbreed?
Well, that question could only be answered by saying, by thinking of our requirement.
Right.
If we wanted a dog to guard, a dog with serious guarding possibilities, then there are particular breeds we should choose. Otherwise, if we want a pet, or if there are old people in the house, where the dog will not be boisterous to knock them down, or very small children where they can actually step on them, right? Then again, there are categories of dogs to choose. Now, crossbreeds are not really bad or anything, unless I have to say that the crosses that are come are of two not matching breeds, because now there is a tendency for these breeders, to try to crossbreed, and they used to entirely different breeds, and they talk of tailor-made dogs, but they don't realize it takes 200-300 years to make a breed, and you can't just mix and match and you have some fantastic product coming out. Genetics don't work that way. So you can have, say for instance, if you have a Rottweiler cross to a dog like a Labrador. The Labradors have an inherent issue of wandering, right? All gun dogs do, because they have to hunt, walking for miles. So what comes out can be a fairly fierce dog that likes to wander around. It can inherit the worst of both sides.
So, so some dogs are inherently dangerous.
Not really. Not inherently.
No, my perception of a Labrador is one of being ultra friendly and absolutely super, very loving and so on. But my perception of, say, a Rottweiler, or what do you call those, the other ones?
Dobermans?
Dobermans, yeah,
Right.
Dobermans, is the opposite.
Yes.
That they are, even if I go somewhere and I see one of them, I'm a bit sort of skeptical about trying to talk to them or approach them. But if it's a lab, you don't think twice. It's there and it's repeated. So is that right, that say the Doberman and so on are dogs that are more dangerous?
Yes, in a way, because now the Doberman, Rottweiler, the German Shepherd, and there are several other breeds which are actually called guarding breeds. So their attitudes are bred to be very much sharper than that. They are more protective.
Right.
So they are very good as guards, and actually they are not absolutely pet quality like a Labrador, which is friendly with everyone. But on the other side, we have Labradors here that bite. Which have been very poorly bred dogs.
Right.
Because in other countries they take breeding very seriously and they keep the quality up. They cull their litters just to keep that, because the temperament is a very big part of the dog.
Right.
And what a lot of people don't realize is that it's two important things. One should not get here, in my opinion, guarding breeds which have German dogs at least beyond 3 generations in their pedigree.
Right.
Right? Because they are very sharp. Those are the quality that's taken for the forces and all that. But there are mild versions also. Other thing is, these big breeds like this, the Doberman, the Shepherd, they mature at around 4 years.
I see.
So you have a lovely, boisterous little pup like a dog till he's 4, and then you suddenly see there's a very entirely different animal sitting in your house.
Yeah.
Right? Then he has matured, and then he's taking his work very seriously.
Now, I've got two. Okay, one's a cross.
Right.
I don't know what cross, but my son saw it and wanted to get it. It's jet black. Everything's black. But Max is rather intelligent.
Yes.
And he knows to shake hands and so on. But try as we may, we can't get our pure breed Great Dane to do any of this.
Yeah.
The Great Dane is the Great Dane. But we find that the Great Dane is rather jealous sort of dog. So he wants to be part of the conversation. So if we like this, he'd want to sit there. Is that normal? Or I might ended up with an abnormal fellow?
No. Dogs are, as I told you, they are pack animals, and they are part of the pack.
Right.
And you are part of his pack, and he's part of yours. So he has to be everywhere where you are.
Right.
Right, he has to, I mean, sometimes you might even see them following the conversation, you know, they move from face to face listening, right? And why they are jealous is if they feel they haven't got adequate attention.
Right.
Just like a child, they will stop anyone else getting their attention. They will come and stop them, and some dogs actually attack others. But, or they will somehow, you know, they sleep across doors, right? They sleep just at the foot of the bed. Right, they do something to, you know, get your attention and to be closest to you as possible.
Why do dogs, before, however much you give them this bed or whatever, they want to go there and scratch it first? Why is that?
That is a part of their nesting habit.
Right.
They scratch it and then they do a little circle.
That's right. Why
and they say, because they say when in evolution, years back, they used to nest in tall grasses. So they make a circle and spread the grass, making a nest, and then they sit there, clearing up the debris at the bottom, whatever. That's a old habit coming down from evolution.
I see. Well, it's all good sort of news. Now then, is a dog too old to learn a new trick?
No.
Right.
No.
Now, okay, so my chap's about 6 years old, okay? And the Great Dane. And he has this innate inability to be taught to shake hands, whereas the little one, who's a cross, has been doing it for years now.
Yeah.
They're about the same age. Can I teach this 6-year-old Great Dane to, well, let's say, sit down? He will sit if I've got a toffee in my hand or a biscuit, but otherwise...
So that is the trick. In the sense, dogs only work for reward.
Right.
The reward can be a treat, or it can be a kind word, a pat, or anything, a little attention.
Right.
But he must have something for his work.
Oh, I see.
It's as simple as that.
So it's like people, really.
Very much.
Most people are incentivized in either because it's a job, or because they get paid, or they get a bonus, or whatever.
Yes.
So what you say is the dogs also need to be incentivized.
Yes.
How easy is it to get dogs trained to, like in customs, for example? You know, they can detect drugs, they can detect food. Are there different dogs to do different things?
In a way, they choose different breeds that have better noses, so to speak. Where they are like.
So if the Sri Lankan customs wants to detect narcotics,
yes.
And then from a customs perspective, if they want to detect if somebody is trying to bring in, let's say, cooked food, or some food item which we don't allow into our country. I don't know what it is, by the way, but I know that in England you can't bring dairy products, meat, that sort of thing. So what happens? Is one breed better, or can this, say, a Labrador be trained to look for drugs and food?
Yes.
Same dog can do both.
Okay. Because it's a question of the scent.
Right.
And the dog's ability
to work. So how does one, very quickly, how does one train a dog to detect the scent, let's say?
It's very, very simple actually. They train the dog to have a toy, a ball, and get them like hooked on it.
Yeah.
And then they bury that toy with whatever you're trying to teach it to hunt. Now if it's narcotics, it's narcotics. Then you get cadavers, then as you say, food stuff. They even use it for CDs. Now they even check for dogs scent bodies underwater, metals. Whatever you want it to train it for, you hide the toy with it. And he looks for his toy. Then after a few times, you take away the toy and keep that. So then he knows when he gets that scent, it's followed by the toy.
Right.
It's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that. But there was a dog in Manchester Airport who came and sat on, to my great shock, on top of my bag as it came out of the conveyor belt. And I thought, oh my God. And so the handler said to me, what have you got in the bag? So I was put on the spot and I said, clothes. And I was sort of trying to think. I said, tea. And then he helped me and he said, have you got any fish there? I said, oh yeah, dry fish. I said, is it Not allowed? Oh no, you can have 20 kilos if you want to. But this dog is being taught, he's being trained at the moment. And so currently his exercise was to differentiate between fish and the meats.
Okay.
And so he obviously detected the fish, right, because it was there. So I thought that was absolutely marvellous that this little chap was being taught to be able to do one or the other. So that's quite easy, the way you say.
Yes. Because if you, there was a clip on about KLM Airlines.
Yeah.
Now they have trained dogs because people leave their mobile phones in the plane.
Right.
And he has a little sort of a harness with a pocket. When they find it, they get this dog, give him the scent and put the phone in that pocket, and the dog runs through these huge airports, European airports, and generally finds the owner, and they return the phone.
Oh, really? Yes. Oh, so not only do they find the phone, the dog is used to sort of identify the owner. I see.
So they can be trained for a wide various lot of things.
Right.
One other little thing I have to tell is about this story that yesterday I heard from our office.
Yeah.
That where there was a spate of murders.
Yeah.
When our news team, like I'm from the Silotore, had gone there, one thing they noticed was there were no strays in the area. Right, these community dogs, as we say,
Yeah.
because in especially outlying areas, they are not gated communities. They are, if they have a strays, but they said, how could these people have been moving around in the night, hiding in hedges, right? A stray would bark, or what we would actually have to call them is a community dog. So what I think government or these social groups should take a now more positive, proactive thing about protecting these dogs, because see, there's a lot of reports about child abuse now. Children are left alone in houses where their parents both work, and would they ever be suffer anything like that if there was a good dog in the house? I don't think so.
And some years ago, I think in Britain anyway, they banned a certain type of dog.
Yes.
After a spate of attacks. And I think they banned the breeding of it as
Yes.
well. Do we have any such restrictions now in Sri Lanka?
Not yet, not really. Because I think in Britain they were using dogs for dog fights, and they were breeding very vicious animals for that.
Yeah.
The US also do that. So we haven't come down to that.
Yeah.
But we have some very badly bred breeds here which actually have been biting people. Those breeds
You're talking about four-legged dogs.
Exactly.
Because there are the other types. as
Yeah,
well.
that's always been here.
Yeah.
But they have not, I think, come to the point where they have to be actually be banned here. But the people themselves, when this dog has a bad reputation, or the breed, they stop buying, and then the people who breed or import them just stop doing it. We had that with the Caucasian Shepherd, which is the most vicious dog ever bred in Russia. They brought it here in the 80s, it was late mid-80s, and it was a beautiful dog. It's like a giant German Shepherd. And when the dog grew, it turned out to be an extremely vicious dog. And when we got the standards down from Russia, then you realize it's a wrong dog in the wrong place. And then actually the breed went off because no one was buying it, they couldn't handle it. It just weeded itself out.
What about a Rhodesian Ridgeback then?
Very good dog. The Ridgeback was bred to protect the Boer farmers from the lions, and also to hunt lions.
Right.
And as they have been crossed with the Hottentots dog, they can take the climate very well.
Right.
So that is also a very good all-round dog. It's a hound, it's a protector. And with the short coat, it's very good for our climate.
And in this country where we are always trying to find the middle part, would you encourage everyone to be more kind and considerate towards community dogs, previously known until now as stray dogs?
Certainly. I think we should, because even if you take our history, which is the longest recorded in the world, it starts with the mention of a dog, right? Vijay was led by a bitch, that Queen came as that, so there is a mention of a dog. That would also have been a community dog. Right?
Wonderful.
And I think we must take a more positive attitude and do something about our community dogs.
Right. Wonderful. And if we had the money, because money is always a problem for government. If we had the money that has been scammed from various scams that goes on, including things like bonds and so on, then we would we'd have the finances to do that as well and aid that. But on that note, Chana Kirk De Silva, K9 expert, journalist, thank you very much for being on Newsline.
Thank you.
And that's it from us this morning. We look forward to seeing you and help you stay connected tomorrow morning. Same time, same place. Take care and God bless.